The Strange Story of the Frog Who Became a Prince by Eleanor Lander Horwitz, illustrated by John Heinley, for Erica, Josh, and Tony. Many years ago, there was a handsome frog who lived by a rather nice pond. He had fun all day, and at night he had happy dreams. Every day was exactly the same as every other day. He liked to swim in the pond and hop in the grass. He hopped high and he hopped low. When he was feeling silly, he hopped sideways. In the grass and in the pond, the handsome frog found caterpillars, grasshoppers, and many other good things to eat. His skin was green like the grass, and brown like the pond, and gold like the sun. He had black eyes, which poked out on either side of his head. He was a very handsome frog indeed. One day he was minding his own business, catching caterpillars and doing some rather fine hopping, when a wicked witch came swimming across the pond. She had a wet black hat and a wet black dress, and she had black eyes right on the front of her face. She looked like a bad dream. But the handsome frog thought she looked rather interesting. "Will you join me for a lunch of caterpillar?" he asked the wicked witch as he took a happy sideways jump. "I'd be happy to cut mine in half." "Ick," said the wicked witch, making a face. "What did you say?" he asked. "People don't eat caterpillars," she said, making a face. "Ick." The frog looked at the interesting witch, who had a face like a bad dream. "What do people eat if they don't eat caterpillars?" he asked. The witch put her hand into her big wet pocket and took out a very soggy peanut butter sandwich. "Have some of this," she said. "I'll share it with you. It's delicious." She broke the sandwich in half and handed him a piece. The frog bit into the sandwich. "Ick," he said. The wicked witch looked at the handsome frog. She smiled a wicked smile. Then she snapped her fingers and said, "Eknerp," which sounded like a hiccup, but which is really prince, spelled backwards. Instantly the handsome frog turned into a prince. "What have you done to me?" he asked. "I've changed you into a prince," she said. "Aren't I clever?" "But why?" he asked. "Because I wanted to," she said. He looked at his pink skin and felt his big ears and the hair on his round head. "My skin is as smooth as a worm, and my ears are like leaves, and my head has grass growing on it," he cried. "Please change me back into the handsome frog I used to be." The wicked witch smiled. "Oh, I can't do that," she said. "I don't remember how." "Why, oh, why did you do such a careless thing?" the prince asked, weeping. "I was such a handsome, happy frog, and then you came along and turned me into an ugly prince." The wicked witch said, "I wanted to see if I could still do magic. Many years ago I changed a handsome prince into an ugly frog. What a good trick that was. But he was unhappy too. People are so unadventurous. Did you ever hear of him?" "Indeed I did," said the prince. "They say he cried all day and frightened the pollywogs, with all that talk about witches. They say he was a very low hopper and a slow swimmer as well. When he disappeared, everyone said he had been changed back into a prince. Now how did you do that?" The witch shrugged. "Who can remember? It was years and years ago." "Try to remember," said the prince. "It was all part of a magic spell I've forgotten." The prince said, "What was the magic word you said when you changed me into a prince?" "I said prince backwards," she said. "Some magic spells work that way. You have to keep trying new words, because some work and some don't, although I've never known why." "Well, try saying that one again," said the prince. "Eknerp," said the witch loudly. Nothing happened. "Try frog backwards," said the prince. "Gorf," said the witch. "Try water. Retwa. Try sun. Nus. Try grass. Sarg," she hissed. The prince thought hard and then said softly, "Try magic word." "What a good idea," said the witch. "Sigum drow." Nothing happened. The prince sat down in the tall grass and began to cry again, more loudly than before. "Now stop that," said the witch. "I don't know if you knew this, but anyone would rather be a prince than a frog." "Really?" asked the prince. "Why?" The witch thought hard for a moment, and then she said, "Well, for one thing, you can have a name when you're a person. A name tells people who you are. Pick any name you like, and it will be yours. How about a fine name like Tom?" "Tom?" said the prince. "Is that a name? It sounds like something falling in the grass at night when it's dark." "How about Harry?" asked the witch. "Is that a name?" asked the prince. "It sounds like a cricket calling." "What about a noble princely French name like Alphonse?" asked the witch. "It sounds like a beaver sneezing," said the prince. "You really are a difficult person to please," said the witch. "Look at your nice clothes. Clothes keep you warm and make you look nice." "Warm," said the prince. "My legs are strangling. I'm boiling. I can hardly jump." "Only necks can strangle," said the witch. "Only water can boil. Only frogs and horses and grasshoppers jump around in that boring way. And furthermore," said the witch, "people can learn how to read." She took a wet newspaper out of her wet pocket. "You see, these are words," she said. "Look, this word says pond." "Pond?" he said. "It doesn't look like a pond at all. It looks just like muddy hummingbird footprints." "How old are you, anyway?" said the witch. "I was born in the spring," said the frog. "Well, no wonder," said the witch. "You can't learn to read until you're 6 years old. I'm very sorry, but I don't know how to break the spell," said the witch, a little crabby now. "You'll just have to learn to like being a prince. Come now, I'll teach you how to whistle and snap your fingers. Now there are two things no frog can do." The witch whistled "Row, row, row your boat" for the prince. The prince tried and tried, but he could not whistle. "Why would anyone want to whistle or snap his fingers anyhow?" asked the prince. "Whistling is a very useful trick," said the witch. "You can call your dog when you whistle." "I hate dogs," said the prince. "Well, never mind," said the witch. "I'll teach you to snap your fingers." The witch snapped her fingers, and suddenly she remembered. She remembered that she had not snapped her fingers when she said her magic words backwards. She leaned closer to the poor, unhappy prince, looked into his sad eyes, snapped her fingers, and said, "Sigum Drow!" "I feel different," said the prince. "Why, look what I've done," said the witch. "I've changed you into a beautiful princess. How charming!" "How embarrassing," said the princess, who used to be a prince, who used to be a frog. "Keep trying, please. I think you're on the right track." "Sarg!" said the witch, snapping her fingers. And the princess, who used to be a prince, who used to be a frog, changed again. "You're getting warmer," said the centaur, who used to be a princess, who used to be a prince, who used to be a frog. The witch snapped her fingers again and said, "Nus ratau!" The merman, who used to be a centaur, who used to be a princess, who used to be a prince, who used to be a frog, said, "Almost, but not quite. Try again." The witch snapped her fingers very loudly twice and cried, "Gorf! Gorf!" and the spell was broken. The handsome frog was very happy. He looked at himself in the pond, and he hopped high and he hopped low. Then he hopped sideways. He swam across the pond and back. He ate a caterpillar. "If you change your mind and want to be a prince again, just call me," said the witch, as she put on her swimming goggles. "Oh, no," said the frog. "But if I meet someone else who would like to be changed into a prince, how do I find you?" "Just whistle or snap your fingers, and I'll be there," said the witch, as she jumped into the pond and swam away. The handsome frog laughed. He laughed and laughed until he was very tired. Then he sat down on a warm rock and told the whole story to a tree toad, who didn't believe it.